Howdy, 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 everybody, and welcome to the BSR MX5 Monday Cup. I am Austin. I am joined by David Gowrie, and our producer today is Marco Baranaba. His sweet sounds will not be presenting us today, unless at the very classic wheel moment. He'll just be doing our camera work today. So thank you, Marco, for that. And hello, David. How are you?
Hi, Austin. Yeah, good. Thank you. How are you?
I am doing just fantastic. I hope you are too. This is your first time commentating with us, right?
It is, yeah, very excited. Looking forward to it. Hopefully, we'll get some good on-track action tonight.
The track is Silverstone, by the way, and it's been giving us great racing in other series, and I hope it's going to give us another great race like it did in Bathurst last week, where Ben Sharp just absolutely destroyed every single race, won the first race, got a podium in the second race, and then won the third race to just top it off a little bit of cherry on top. He's just been on a roll this season, so expect another strong start for him as qualifying is ending, and we should have our finishing grid pop up very soon. I believe we're just waiting for three more cars come across the line, then we'll be completely up there. But currently sitting on top, it is Carl Jacquelet, followed by Ben Sharp making up that front row. We're looking at Anthony Jacobson right now, who's making his way around the club corner and across the line, sitting in 11th place right now. But what are your hopes for this race?
I just want to see some good action. I want to see some good wheel-to-wheel action. I think the long straights are going to be interesting with the draft. So we'll see how they're going into the braking zones and what kind of action we'll see there. Yeah,
we're usually used to seeing much faster cars go around here, and seeing a bunch of slow Mazdas is a definite change of pace. So what we're used to seeing in F1 cars, I believe that is your main background, right? Is flat out racing, and MX5 is a little bit different, so it's gonna
be F1 cars, obviously. British GT, quite a good fan of the British GT. I actually went to Alton Park. Alton Park's not too far from me, so the season opener this season for the British GT, so that was really good. Nicky Team was there driving, a popular guy on iRacing and YouTube, so good to see him. So all kinds of motorsport, really.
All right, as qualifying's over and we're waiting for everyone to grid up, and I believe our grid is going to come up. We're at the new Silverstone today, not the old 2011 one. We're at the new, brand spanking new, updated version of Silverstone here on iRacing that was just live a few weeks ago after they updated that. And so new cars. Well, okay, not new cars, but a technically new track today. Same old Silverstone that we love, but a modern Silverstone. So instead of starting on the old front straight by Cops Corner, we're now starting at Club. And here are your grid today. And David, since you're new, I'm going to let you go through the grid.
Okay, so we've got Jacquelet on pole, Ben Sharp down in second, completing the front row. We've got Jez Banks third, Kebula in fourth, Hardy fifth, Jones sixth, Ayers and Sesford in seventh and eighth, Kellyman and Malcolm ninth and 10th, 11th is Anthony Jacobson, 12th Russell Davis, and Steve Cooley down in P13, Mark Westwood 14, Phil Regan down in 15th, Dale Bennison 16th, Alan Toon and Kip Stevens 17th and 18th, and 19th Edward May with 19th Edward May with Andy Maxwell in 20th, and Ryan Oliver and Mikey Key rounding up the grid.
Awesome. We all had to do it right. We all had to read out the grid on our first broadcast, so little bit of a initiation right there. You did great.
Yeah, you threw me in there. I wasn't expecting that.
Marco did the exact same thing to me. But welcome to have you in the booth. That was a great grid read as the formation lap is starting right now. You see the five blink lights off, but everyone is lining up side by side. They're getting ready to go through the Royal Chicane. And coming through Club, Jacquelette's got a great lead. And it might have a little bit of Le Mans start like we had in Le Mans, where it's just an utter chaos confusion. But they're lining back up through Kent, through Vale, and it's green, green, green. We're racing here in Silverstone. And Sharp gets an absolute jump on Jacquelette, and he jumps straight into the lead. Heading towards Abby, who's going to get the lead out through here, almost side by side with Sharp and Jacquelette, but Jacquelette falling down behind Sharp as a little bit of jostling for position happens through Abby. I think a car went off right there. But near the front, everything is keeping cool between Sharp, Jacquelette, Sebla, and Banks.
I think it might have been Andy Maxwell who went off track there.
Yeah, Maxwell has fallen down a few. Yeah, that he's definitely had an issue. I think Marco might give us a little bit of a replay to see what's happened to Andy. But joining at the front right now between Sharp and Jacquelette, they're going side by side, heading into Brooklands. And Jacquelette up on the inside. Ben Sharp around the outside. Coming into left field right there. Jacquelette swings it around the outside. A little bit of loose end right there. It's going to have a better run, Ben Sharp is, because he's in a lower gear, as they're having a drag race here in Britain. And this is classic Silverstone racing at its finest, flat out and furious. But Jacquelette leading almost by a car length in front of the Fury Synsport driver as they head into Cobb's Corner.
Yeah, Jacquelette getting back in front there. He was caught napping, I think, a little bit on the start there, and Sharp jumped him, but yeah, good side-by-side action then. We
heard Ben Sharp actually shift down, getting a good rev, trying to chase down Jacquelette. They're going side-by-side to Magus, Beckett, and Chapel right here, and ooh, they're so close. We're looking back for Carlos Jacquelette at Ben Sharp. Ben just all over the bumper. That front end of that Mazda making it very well known what series this is. Ben Sharp's just... He's got a cut course penalty.
Yeah, slow down. So disappointing.
After a great start and great weekend of races, we're looking at Sebla and Sesford, I believe. Yes, that is Sebla and Sesford. They're going side by side as Sebla has actually fallen back behind Sesford. He's looking for a little bit of moves, actually a little bit of faking moves, swinging it down to the inside and into the Royal Chicane, unable to make a move right there.
Yeah, has he got the switch back? Side by side.
Sebla getting a little bit of a run, but they're still side by side as they head into Abbey. We saw a little bit of chaos going through here, but ooh, what a move going in there. Looked like a little mistake was made by Sesford as he was following Sebla through there. And out of nowhere, here comes Malcolm up the inside in the arena. A little bit of a tap on Sesford right there, but he gets that Result clothing car up there into 6th place as Ben Sharp is down in 10th after that unfortunate incident after Chapel Corner. He did get that off-track penalty and had to slow down as he swings out the slipstream of Kellyman, and he's going to take one, maybe 2 cars into left field.
Yeah,
Brooklands.
he's second.
Oh, what a great overtake. Is he going to make it a 3rd? Oh, a little bit of contact between him and Sesford right there. Don't think Sesford knew that he was there, but Ben Sharp absolutely tearing through the field right now, trying to get back as much places as he can and get back to Jacquelette in this 15-minute race.
Yeah, we saw a great move by Malcolm. The 2 cars ahead, Sesford and I think Sebula, battling it out. And obviously when you're battling, you're losing time, you're not on the right racing line. And Malcolm just took advantage there.
Yeah, and I want to say the split times. This is... Jacquelette's been setting 2:30 times. Everyone else has been setting 2:31 times. It's not looking at that. It's Ben Sharp around the outside. There's contact between him and Sesford as there's a car spinning right there through Maggots and Beckett's. Oh, Sesford just got... I don't know what that would be, dumped or not, but I think a replay would give us a very good light right here as the little whoosh has happened. Okay, Sharp up on the inside, Sesford around the outside. They're going side by side. And... oh, Sesford squeezed Sharp.
Wasn't too much in it, really.
Just very close racing between the two
Yeah.
competitors. We're just going up to the battle for 6 between May, Ayers, Jones, and Kellyman. Is oh, Carl Hardy has got a slowdown penalty. Or, no, Carl Hardy is out of the race. Something's happened to Carl Hardy. Battle for first between Jacqueline and Banks right now. Banks closing in on Jacqueline. They both set a 2:25 last lap, but Banks has set the faster lap time than Carl Jacqueline, but Sector 4 was purple for Jez Banks. If we look at our split time in Sector 1, Jez Banks has set faster time to that, but Jacqueline leading it out and down the Wellington straight. Slipstream is a factor here, like we saw in Le Mans, so Banks definitely getting that slipstream effect from Jacqueline.
It'd be interesting to see, I think, if Ben Sharp's got any sustained damage from that that little contact. Doesn't look like it's affecting his times too much.
Yeah, Sharp sitting in 7th right now, making his way up through the field, but the main battle is between Jacqueline and Banks. The battle for the lead. Banks closing in on Jacqueline as they head into Cops Corner. Now, 2:25 is a great time for both of these guys as they're coming up to Magus Beck's Chapel, and there's absolutely no one in sight. Sebla is 3 seconds behind them right there, as Jez Banks and Jacqueline are within a second of each other, as our thankful sector times are showing who is going through here better and faster than each other. Look at the amount of time that Banks has made up on through Sector 2.
Yeah, it's a great sector for him. He's just gone purple last lap with a 2:25.59, so he's reeling Jacqueline in.
Sector 4, once again, on that straight, been gaining all the time, but in the corners, Jacqueline has been losing him, but he's losing all the time that he's gaining up, almost more than all the time that he's gained up in the previous sector due to those long straights, as they head in one more time through the Royal Chicane, as Jacqueline and Banks still battling out for the lead. Sector 5 comes up, and 3/10. Banks is slower than Jacqueline. No personal best for them, surprisingly.
Yeah, so they're actually slower, both slower on that lap by over a second.
I'm guessing pressure is something what drives most of these guys. Something who's definitely has a massive drive ahead of him is Ben Sharp. Moved up to 6th place after a pass on Jones, and his next target is David Ayers, up in 5th place. And if it was a Cinderella weekend, brilliant, perfect weekend at all, last race in Bathurst, this is utter reality that life sucks and things happen, and Ben Sharp is definitely not having a happy day so far in race 1 out of 3 here in Silverstone. After first lap off track, have to slow down as, oh, late move, a little bit of a dummy move on David Ayers. Ben Sharp thought he could try that, try to give him a little bit of scare, try to force a mistake by David, but David knows his stuff, but it looks like he might have had a little bit of a nibble of too much that he could chew going into that corner. That might have actually slowed Ben down, but he's gaining a lot of time on David Ayers, and he might try something coming into Cops or coming out of Cops right here. Hear that shift down. He's getting a lot of time. He's going to make a move around the outside. Well, he tried to make a move around the outside, but David not leaving any space or window open up for Ben Sharp as they're racing very tightly coming up into Magus Beckington Chapel. This is where Ben has been having those incidents. Looking back at Kellyman racing with Davis and Hardy for the battle for 10th place right now, but it's the real battle in that window is the battle between Oliver and Davis, switching back between 5th and 6th of David Ayers and Ben Sharp. They're having a little bit of drag race, and Ben is getting a little bit of a slipstream from his teammate of May. And Ben Sharp swinging around the outside, back into sliding out just a little bit, but that is a move for Ben Sharp up into 5th place.
Yeah, good move. It was kind of the inevitable. You could see it coming. He was just finding his spot, and just trying to find that opportunity and that opening to get through. Good move.
Great move by Ben Sharp, seeing how he qualified up at the top on the front row. He does have pace around here, as this group between Oliver, Kellyman, and Hardy is certainly lighting up as they're going off for another lap. Looking back from Kellyman at Hardy right now. So they head through Abbey, late dive, a little bit too late, and Davis actually completely cut the track. He appeared out of nowhere. I think he has a little bit of a slowdown penalty for that.
Yeah,
Yes, he does.
you could see they both tried to do the same thing almost, down the inside of the car ahead. Yeah, just cut across a bit too soon, a bit too much, and yeah, you get the slowdown.
Yeah, unfortunately for them, slowdowns are still a thing in this league session. If we could turn them off, we would. Just looking at Oliver and Malcolm. Oliver getting a massive run, just sitting on the inside, heading into Brooklyn's, trying to find any type of room and trying to play some mental games with Malcolm ahead, but we saw Malcolm make two great moves. He's fallen back just a little bit after jumping up into 6 in the first laps. Too few people, but they are still racing each other very nicely. Here comes Oliver. Malcolm's not leaving the room. There's a little bit of tap. Oh, Ryan Oliver, he's spinning in the middle of the track. Hopefully no one else gets into him. Steve Cooley almost, that was a car up on the inside that flew right past him. Here's an instant replay from not on board. Here comes Oliver up the inside, and yep, that's just a squeeze.
Just shut the door. Yeah.
He wanted to go through the open doors, sell him some cupcakes, but he was not. There was no one home to be buying anything.
And Ryan must be absolutely kicking himself for that. He was up 12 places.
Yeah, hopefully the wheel is in his favor after this race. That's all I have to say. The wheel with our favorite Marco Brandeba after this race. As rejoining the battle between Kellyman, Hardy, and Malcolm, almost side by side through the Royal Chicane, and it's going to be Hardy up on the inside, retaking his spot with Kellyman. Kellyman and Hardy have been battling with each other, but Malcolm, with the two behind him, is struggling for pace as they gained up right behind him, and we might see something heading into Abbey.
Yeah, Malcolm does seem to be struggling, doesn't he? Hardy with a great move there on Kellyman. It looks like he's trying to get another one.
Hardy's looking around his car of the result clothing, but I think that's also to hold off Kellyman in some defensive ways. But this pack of three is battling with each other very close, and as I said, Kellyman, he's dropped back a lot through the arena. I think he wasn't expecting Hardy to break somewhere, but as they come down the Wellington Straight into Brooklands, look behind them. That's Kip Stevens ahead, but we're swinging it back to Malcolm and Hardy. Hardy up on the inside into Brooklands. Hardy getting all the room from Malcolm right there. As they head into left field, it's going to be Hardy leading out the battle for 8th place. Now Malcolm falling a little bit under pressure from Kellyman. Now will Kellyman try and move down Cobb's corner?
I think Kellyman should be making a move sooner rather than later. Malcolm really seems to be struggling for getting some pace, but he has got the toe off Hardy, so...
Yeah, the toe is very effective here in Silverstone. They all make it through Cobb's corner nice, but now it's up to the famous Maggots, Beckett's, and Chapel complex. Now this is where the drivers get their pace and get their places mainly. As Hardy's just absolutely flying through here. Malcolm holding up Kellyman. So Kellyman, if he gets a better exit through Chapel, will absolutely swing by Malcolm, as Hardy is almost an entire second ahead of Malcolm and Kellyman.
Yeah, so he's lost that toe now. He's going to find it hard to keep Kellyman off. Keep Kellyman off him.
Yeah, no change of position, surprisingly. Kellerman stayed out of the draft as I believe it is white flag racing conditions right here. All right, just got confirmation from our producer that it is white flag last lap racing here at Silverstone for the race 1 out of 3 for the BSR MX5 Racing Series. We'll look at the battle for fourth between May and Sharp teammates. A little bit of a replay. What's happened here? Did he cut the track? A little bit of getting squirrely through Cop's corner, but that's allowed Ben Sharp to get in that toe. Can Sharp move up to 4th after falling down to what I believe 8th place? Did he fall down to?
Yeah, it's been a great recovery drive from Sharp. I think was he further than 8th? I think he was further.
Yeah, 10th I think was the actual position. But we're not going to shy away from his teammate. Edward May has moved up 15 spots from his starting position. So the biggest mover in the field is definitely Edward May, and Ben, also a big mover in the field, big recovery drive. I think these two teammates might race each other a little bit cleanly for the Fury Sim Sport Academy, but if the championship is mine, Ben should probably try to get past May as soon as possible, but these two expect them to race each other very cleanly as they head into Magnus Beckstead Chapel.
Yeah, I think at this stage you're just looking to bring the cars home, aren't you, and get home safely.
Yeah, bringing it safe, it's all what it's about. You don't want a car that's crashed on the line, because if you finish a lap down, you will not be included in the wheel reverse grid. So yeah, see Ben breaking the toe between him and May. He's giving May the position, not going to try to overtake him through there, and they're going to keep that position as Jacqueline is coming along Vale and up to Club, and he leads from start to finish. Winner of race 1, it's Carl Jacqueline for year 1 racing. Very easy race for him, as some might say, as Jez Banks finishes right behind him. But Carl Jacqueline, after not having any pressure after that first incident with Ben Sharp, so we're looking at Charles Kellyman right now in the battle for 10th. Everyone's just slowly coming away. Up through Club he goes. Kellyman finishes in 11th with Davis right behind. Some other battles behind them. Benison and Reagan and Jacobson. Jacobson going wide. He's going to try to get a very recovery job. He's being squeezed out. Trying to make a move through Club, but unable to do that. As Alan Toon is the last one on track through the Royal Chicane. A little bit of cut track right there as we get a nice skyline view of the track right there. What a crazy race we have witnessed today.
Yeah, lots going on there. Like we said, a good recovery drive, I think, from Ben Sharp. Edward May with a fantastic drive up 15. And another one worth mentioning was Oliver as well, who had that unfortunate contact and spin, but still a really good race from him, moving up, I think, 6 places.
Yes, Oliver had a great recovery drive. So we're looking at these blimp shots. Here are your results for race 1. It's Carl Jacqueline taking the win, followed by Jez Banks, Sebula, May, Ben Sharp, David Ayers, Craig Jones, Carl Hardy, Scarlett Malcolm, Charles Kellyman, Russell Davis, Steve Cooley, Graham Sessford, Ryan Oliver, Phil Regan, Dale Bennison, Anthony Jacobson, and Alan Toon. Now, we had a few non-finishers. Kip Stevens finished behind Alan Toon, followed by Mark Westwood, Andy Maxwell, and Mikey Key. So 3 cars will not make the wheel. As speaking of the wheel, please welcome everybody, Marco Branaba.
Yes. Thank you very much, Austin. And yeah, it was a very entertaining race 1. Let's see what the reverse grid wheel gives us for race 2. And of course, it will come back later for race 3 as well. The wheel should be on your screen right now, hopefully. Yes, so let's roll it. And it's going to be -2, which translates for purposes of this series to a full reverse grid. So let's see how many cars we have eligible for this reverse grid in particular. And I think that the pole sitter will be Mark Westwood. He will start from pole being the first car one lap down or better. Kip Stevens will be sent to the back being a pro driver. Then Alan Toon, Anthony Jacobson, and Dale Bennison will be your top 5 for race 2. So I have to say, Austin, quite a big reverse, almost the full field.
Yes, almost a full field besides the 2 drivers at the bottom. But a great, great fight is about to happen for race 2. And can we see May move up another 15 spots to be up there in the top? Can we see Ben Sharp try to get on the podium like he did last time in Bathurst? Will Carl Jacqueline move up to take another win? Will Jess Banks make a great run? Will a few people that didn't have the best, who were involved in a little bit of incidents, also make a great impact here today? Well, I hope you guys are ready. Stay tuned for race 2 here in Silverstone.
Growing up as a kid in Oklahoma, where I'm from, the Chili Bowl is the biggest race that we have. The Chili Bowl has kind of been my favorite race of the year. Growing up a dirt racer in Oklahoma, that's kind of the holy grail.
cleared. Punch it. Great job. You did really well.
Once again, photo finish here of the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Will it be Tim Hogan? It's going to be Christopher
Growing up as a kid in Oklahoma, where I'm from, the Chili Bowl is the biggest race that we have. The Chili Bowl has kind of been my favorite race of the year. Growing up a dirt racer in Oklahoma, that's kind of the holy grail.
We're almost out of fuel. You'll have to come in for a splash. Three, two, one, now. All clear. Punch it. Great job. You did really well.
Through the final corner for the final time. Once again, photo finish here of the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Will it be Tim Hogan? It's going to be Christopher DeMerit at the line.
Howdy, 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 everybody, and welcome back to the BSR MX5 Money Cup for race 2 of 3 here in Silverstone. The wheel has been spun and the grid has been reversed. It's Alan Toon starting up front, followed by Anthony Jacobson, Dale Bennison, Phil Reagan, Ryan Oliver, Graham Sessford, Steve Cooley, Russell Davis, thank you, Marco, Charles Kellyman, Scott Malcolm, Carl Hardy, Craig Jones, David Ayers, Ben Sharp, Edward May, Jaroslav Sebula, Jez Bass, Carl Jacqueline, Mark Westwood, Andy Maxwell, Kip Stevens, and Mikey Key starting up at the rear. And after a frantic race, we'll have a little bit of incidents, a little bit of storylines. Jacqueline has won the race. Ben Sharp, after a few incidents, finished in P5 behind his teammate of Edward May, who's moved up 15 places. A few people who had a little bit of incidents, believe that was Mikey Key. Somebody had a massive screen freeze that dropped them down the field. Oh, Carl Hardy, who's starting in 11th. He's gonna like that as the pace car is pulling off. It's time to get ready to go racing for race 2 out of 3 here in Silverstone. I am joined by David, and David's gonna take you through the start.
Yep, so lights are out and we're racing. Jacobson's got a good jump, he's gone over to the inside. And pretty much too easy there for Jacobson through on Toon.
Yeah, Allentown did not have the pace. He actually took the outside line going to Abbey. Didn't want to cause a massive incident as the Euro 1 cars getting up on the inside of Allentown, setting it up on the inside. There was going 3 to 4 wide, but Allentown falling down more places. This is the chaos that the reverse grid brings, but this is why we love this series so much. Jacobson, Bennison, Reagan, and Toon leading out your top 5, but Toon being overtaken by 2 cars coming down the Wellington Straight. That is Oliver looking around, making this 3 wide, heading into Brooklyn's caught in the middle of that. That is Reagan, and 2 spun around, and he takes Reagan. There's 3 cars involved. There's a car upside down. Kellyman also involved.
Kellyman? Yeah, Kellyman's gone.
No, Kip Stevens was involved. It was Sessworthy who was on it, who did the little bit of flip. And outside on the other end of left field is Scott Malcolm. No! After a great race, he gets involved in an instant. There are more cars coming all over the place. Oh, it's carnage at the end of lap 1. Here's a replay from up top. What has happened here? Well, you want to see the orange car getting into the side of Allentown. Gets cut back. Sessworth gets absolutely murdered. And well, thankfully that tire wall was there to keep his car up front, but that is a 1 damaged front nose. Oh my goodness!
Where to start? Where do you even start?
Did a scroll across the track again? In all my years of commentary, I haven't seen 5 cars spin out in the exact same corner. What? Okay, so we have a few people going into the pits.
So it'd have been really interesting to see how Jacqueline could have come through the field. Obviously, the last race he dominated and had a fairly straightforward victory. So it'd have been interesting to see his racecraft and how he could have come through the field. I suppose, incidentally, with that mayhem, he's slipped up 10 spaces already. Andy Maxwell straight behind him. Moved up 11 as well, so good start for both of them too. Craig Jones up 8. He's in P4.
Yeah, now that most of the chaos of lap 1 is out, and I believe a lot of people are heading into the pits right now that you'll see on the tower. A few people staying out. Ben Sharp has moved up to P6 after starting way down the field, and he's racing with Russell Davis. One of the privateers, Ben Sharp, going to the outside around Brooklyn, is going to try to hold it around the outside as Davis taking up a very defensive line. But around the outside goes Ben Sharp for P5, and his next target is Craig Jones as Russell Davis. Going to try to carry that toe in with him, but Ben Sharp getting P5, making it look easy and looking for his first podium this race.
Yeah, he kind of compromised his line though on the second corner there, going round the outside of Davis. So Davis got up quite close behind him then. And still is quite close.
Race 1 winner of Hardy and Jacqueline. We took a look at massive front end damage, I believe, for Jacqueline. Saw him get into that incident at Magus Beckers of Chapel once again this time. Hopefully no one lose tractions in the wheels and compromise other people's race. I've lost traction here and it sucks. But it wasn't as chaotic as that. As Ben Sharp gets a nice run through Chapel. He's going to be pressured up on the inside by Craig Jones. And Ben Sharp and Craig Jones having a little bit of drag race down the hanger straight. Coming up into this right-hander. And it's going to be Sharp being late on the brake, sending it up the inside. And Sharp is now into P4 as he's making his way up 10 places to the podium. But
yeah,
looking
nice
back, and here comes
Sharp.
Jones. He's trying to send it around the outside of Club Corner. Great move by them. Great clean racing by all 3 of these guys. But Ben Sharp is just on another level as Russell Davis and Craig Jones racing with each other once more. Russell Davis so close. Actually gives him a little bit of a tap right there, and he's going to try to make a move down into Abbey. This is a very risky place to overtake right here. Hopefully they keep it clean. A little bit of smoke from believe that was Benison up there. A little bit of smoke left over from Benison's little escapade as he sees the familiar name of Ben Sharp chasing him down. But focusing on the battle at hand between Jones and Davis as they fly through the arena. A little bit spread out, not as close as they were through Abby. Abby pretty much takes all the fight out of a few people and gives them a little bit of readjustment of saying, you should not pass here.
Jacqueline just got the fastest lap of the race, bearing down on Davis. So Davis is going to have to start looking behind him rather than in front of him.
Yeah, with these reverse grids, the faster guys usually come through as this time as we see Jacqueline on the rear end of Davis. And Davis seeing that familiar year one racing car in his mirror is going to try anything to defend from him. But Carl Jacqueline, race one winner and one of the top runners of the series, going up the inside, heading into Cobbs, looking up for the battle for first. Jacobson and Oliver. Woohoo! Little bit of sliding action through first place and Cobb's corner as they head through Max and Beckett's, looking down at Benison and Jones. Actually, that was Ben Sharp making the move at Benison for P3. As here comes Jones. He's going to try to fight it through Benison, as I think I just saw Jacqueline lining someone up for the straight. Speaking of Max and Beckett's, yep, there is Adam Chappell. Jacqueline sitting at 7th. He's got Hardy in this little triangle. Of a group. Hardy sitting in that slipstream, being a little bit of late breaker. Jacqueline making Davis do the right thing, give him a little bit of space. Davis pretty much gave him too much space as Jacqueline moves up into P6.
Hardy's making a move on the inside. Yeah, he's got
very
it
close
nice
racing.
and clean.
That is some
Hold
very
down the
great
outside.
racing. We're going up to the bottom first. Oliver versus Jason, and here comes Ben Sharp as they're coming up into Abby side by side. Hold on to your popcorn, everybody, as Oliver actually holds it off, and here comes Sharp. He's going to try to get the rebound around the next corner. He's going to try to go in around the outside. Hello, boys. It's time to party. Ben Sharp's here for P2, and he might... Oh, my goodness. I thought he was going to get 2 cars in one corner. The amount of speed that he comes in here, but Jacobs not letting up without a fight. Jacobson moves up into P2.
Yeah, Sharp just outbraked himself there, completely compromised his line and really struggled then.
These cars are all about momentum. The side of Sharp's car is all stretched up on the right side. They're racing down the Wellington Straight, heading into Brooklands. Who's going to be the last of late breaker? Sharp sending it as fast as he can. Jacobson's going to try to hold it at the but Ben Sharp into P2, and he's going to try to keep it this time.
Oliver must be looking behind him now, just absolutely loving this battle, because they're keeping him. The battle between Sharp and Jacobson is just keeping them further away from him. They're losing time, obviously, battling. So Oliver's just keeping quiet, keeping out front on his own, trying to stick it out.
We're looking at the battle for the lead between Oliver and Sharp. Ryan just keeping the middle of the track, making Ben go wherever he wants him, trying to make his car as wide as possible. Ben is going to try to make the move around the outside through the back of Speck's Chapel Complex, trying to find any switch route, but Ryan Oliver is just keeping his car in the middle of the track, not giving Ben Sharp any advantage through any corner, but he's also compromising his own car as they're coming through Chapel. Sharp swings around the back end, and now they're side by side, but Ben Sharp has gotten into the lead, and now Carl Jacqueline, the 1-2 battle that we had, is now in 4th. He's going to be going for 3rd place right here as Carl Jacqueline sends it. Is he going for 2nd right there?
I really thought Oliver had a chance then to sneak back through on the inside of Sharp, and yeah, Jacqueline just storming through.
Oh, the 1-2 battle continues between Sharp and Jacqueline. Race 1 winner, race 1 pole, race 2 2nd place, and Ben Sharp. These two guys have mastered this track as better than anyone else in these cars, as Ben Sharp and Carl Jacqueline once again in 1-2, but reverse order. unlike in race 1. Lap 5 out of 7. Here we go. Looks like Ben had a little bit slow exit out of that corner, giving Carl Jacqueline the momentum he needs to stay in that slipstream and get that toe coming down the Wilmington straight. Now we're going to see a absolute ding-dong battle for the lead between these two.
Yeah, I think Jacqueline just needs to stay calm, pick his spot, and make sure the opportunity he goes for is the right one.
He's actually not going to try and move down inside of Brooklyn. He's going to try to separate them from Oliver and Jacobson, which is a smart move, especially if you're in a massive pack, going to have guys way in the back of the pack try to make a move and cause chaos. So if these two have a little bit of gentleman's agreement and try to build up a gap to the cars behind to avoid any incidents like they have, these two should be saving most of the battles for the straights. But as they're coming up side by side, that truce is absolutely in a hold as they approach Cobb's corner. Who's going to have the run out?
Yeah, I think
Sharp
it was
actually going off track. Looks like Jacqueline has a little bit of run. Jacqueline on the inside had his front nose in there a little bit, but actually gave him room as they're going through Magus Beckett Chapel. A little bit of brakes being applied there for both cars, but the lead 3 is Sharp, Jacqueline, and Oliver. One more time as they hang down Hanger Straight. Here comes Jacqueline. Side by side, they go into that very fast right-hander on top of that hill. Jacqueline being held around the outside by Sharp, but now Jacqueline has retaken the lead.
incredible move.
It's a very great move, I must say. It's definitely in control of this car and in control of this track as they make their way through Club Corner. And it looked like Ben Sharp might try something, but Jacqueline has held that inside line, and Ben Sharp had nowhere to go. But as we enter lap 6 out of 7, Carl Jacqueline once again in the lead here in Silverstone.
Yeah, that move over on Ben Sharp then to hold that kind of speed on the outside line and keep it there and not run wide was a brilliant move. Obviously, we know Ben Sharp's no slouch on the inside line, but Jacqueline just going around the outside made it stick.
Now the fight between them. Don't count out Ben Sharp just yet. He qualified P2, with Jacqueline qualifying P1, and with the slipstream and toe that Silverstone brings, the battle will always go on. No matter if you're a second slower or 2 seconds slower, the toe will help you in certain spots, as Oliver is still within a second of Ben Sharp, as well as Anthony Jacobson.
Yeah, Oliver's just got his fastest lap of the race, so he's sneaking back up on these two.
Yeah, time last lap for Jacqueline and Ben Sharp, 2:27 and 2:28. Ryan Oliver, best lap, 2:28, set last lap. Coming up to Cops now, a little bit progressional between the two. Dirty air is kind of a thing in these cars, as they're not really aerodynamically affected, but it still adds a little bit of disturbance. But its main disturbance is in the toe, as we see Ben Sharp closing in on Carl Jacqueline right now. He's going to try to line up a move throughout Chapel. Expect to see Ben Sharp battling like crazy and trying to force Carl Jacqueline into a move. They're hugging the inside of Hanger Straight. Carl Jacqueline swings to the middle side, but we're going to see Ben Sharp swing around the outside right here and try to pressure Jacqueline. Jacqueline moving to the inside of the line, not giving Sharp any room at all. Sharp looking for the switch back as they're approaching Club Corner, but the lead stays the same. The battle races on between Carl Jacqueline, Ben Sharp, and Oliver.
Yeah, it was good defending from Jacqueline there, and you could see Ben Sharp trying to do the same thing as what Jacqueline did on him, and unfortunately not able to do it this time.
As a white flag waves here in Silverstone, it's lap 7 out of 7. It's last lap time. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you buckle your seatbelts, because this is edge of your seat racing for the lead in the BSR MX5 Cup.
Are we
Ben
going to see
Sharp.
some last lap lunges?
Oh, with Ben, you're always going to see some last lap lunges. Ben looking all over the track, trying to find anything, but Carl Jacqueline keeping it smooth, keeping it silky, leaving a little bit of room to force Ben into a momentum-killing mistake. But Ben was biting at the bait, giving a little bit of nibbles, but Jacqueline stays in the lead. Coming into Brooklands, expect Ben. He's giving him the nose, but he's actually sold him a dummy. Carl Jacqueline closed the door on Ben as they head through Love Field. Are we going to see a difference of line between the two? No, they aren't. So we're still going to have close racing coming up to Cobb's Corner. They come through Woodcut right now. Almost bump drafting through Cobb's Corner. Jacqueline turning in more than Ben Sharp. Ben Sharp actually falling a lot of time from Carl Jacqueline. I guess he wasn't expecting him to break there. So a little bit of mind games as they approach Maggots, Beckett's, and Chapel. Oh, Carl Jacqueline hopped over those orange sausage curbs. Hopefully he did not pick up a slowdown penalty. That would definitely ruin his race like it did to Ben Sharp at the exit of Chapel right here. We saw him pick up that slowdown in race 1. But these three, Jacqueline, Sharp, and Oliver, are definitely racing for the podium and the win right now. So we see Alan Toot, Phil Regan in the background up there. And here comes Ben Sharp with the switch route. Ben Sharp setting it up the inside for the lead. Here comes Oliver, the top three, all three wide going into club. But Jacqueline leading out Sharp. Here comes Oliver up the inside. Ben Sharp cuts off his teammate. Ben Sharp absolutely sends it and smacks his rival across the thing. And Oliver is going to overtake both of them and take the win here in Silverstone. And it's absolute chaos at the club chicane. Oh my gosh.
Outrageous. You could just, Oliver was just biding his time. He was just waiting. He was just waiting and hoping that those front two would do exactly what they did. And yeah, that contact absolutely destroyed Jacqueline. As he come across now in fifth, yeah, finished in fifth. What a shame. But what an incredible battle last few laps.
Oh, if I had radio on, we would need a massive sensor button because that was a outrageous move. So we try to get a replay between Ben Sharp and Carl Jacqueline right here. Here we go. Well, this is the arena incident between the two. But Carl Jacqueline finishing, almost going for the win right there. Unfortunately taken out by his rival. Here is the hanger straight. This is what led up to what we see Oliver, the other Furious Synsport car, sitting in the background of this battle, and Ben Sharp is just going for it. All out battle between the two. This is where Oliver just came out of nowhere to surprise him. Carl Jacqueline is going to swing onto the outside. Ben Sharp's going to swing into the inside, and I think that swing right there, the two of them smacked into each other so hard. That's what gave Oliver the win, and unfortunately, that spin for Jacqueline just means no more improvement. But I believe Ben Sharp pulled off, knowing that he was at fault right there, and let Carl Jacqueline pass. Yeah, there's Ben. So he knew he was at fault there and let his rival pass. So good sportsmanship on a very aggressive dive by Ben Sharp and Carl Jacqueline, and utter chaos between the two. And Carl letting out a bit of frustration right there.
It's nice to see the sportsmanship there of Ben Sharp. He went in very deep, late on the brakes, and I think he just got a little bit of understeer. Couldn't quite get the front end turned in, and obviously,
what
just
the?
Mechanics have got a job on their hand for next race on that one.
What? Whew. Was that somebody trying to finish? Or did All right. Well, after a very exciting race 2, here are your finishers, and here are the results. It's Ryan Oliver taking the win, followed by Carl Hardy, Craig Jones, Anthony Jacobson, Carl Jacqueline, Russell Davis, Andy Maxwell, Ben Sharp, Charles Kellyman, Jez Banks, Dale Benison, David Ears, Yaroslav Sebula, Edward May, Mikey Key, Steve Cooley, Scott Malcolm, Kip Stevens, Phil Regan, Alan Tu, Grant Sessford, and Mark Westwood brings up the field. And we're going to have a 20-car eligible reverse grid. So let's bring in Marco to, say it with me, spin that wheel.
Yes, that was a very, very interesting race. Chaos at the start, fantastic racing at the end, dramatic finish. And actually, Kip Stevens, after going past the start-finish line, I think he had some damage to his front right and or front left. And when you have that kind of damage and you try to steer in the opposite direction of the wheel, you will go on basically a half of a barrel roll. And Steve Cooley said, "Okay, let's give Kip Stevens a helping hand," and that was quite the scene, and I think a perfect conclusion to a very, very interesting and entertaining race 2. Let's see who gets the pole for race 3 then. Let's roll it. And so the reverse grid wheel says 14, which means Edward May will start in pole, Yaroslav Sebula will start in second, and David Ayers, Del Benison, and Just Banks will round up your top 5 for the third and sadly final race of the day.
After a chaotic race 2, race 3 should be one like no other. Carl Jacqueline taking the first win with Ryan Oliver taking the second. Who will take race 3? Keep tuned for BSR Racing here in Silverstone for race 3 in just a short moment.
Growing up as a kid in Oklahoma, where I'm from, the Chili Bowl is the biggest race that we have. The Chili Bowl has kind of been my favorite race of the year. Growing up a dirt racer in Oklahoma, that's kind of the holy grail. Growing up as a kid in Oklahoma, where I'm from, the Chili Bowl is the biggest race that we have. The Chili Bowl has kind of been my favorite race of the year. Growing up a dirt racer in Oklahoma, that's kind of the holy grail.
Howdy, 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 everybody, and welcome to the BSR MX5 Monday Cup Race 3. I'm Austin. I am joined by David Gowrie. Our producer, once again, is Marco Brandaba, and we're here for the final race in the BSR MX5 Monday Cup, and I must say, it's nighttime. Yes, the sun is coming down, and we're in perfect sunset conditions, so the lights are going to be on around Silverstone, and here is your starting grid. It's Edward May starting up on pole, followed by Jaroslav Sebula, David Ayers, Dale Bendison, Jess Banks, Charles Kellyman, Ben Sharp, Andy Maxwell, Russell Davis, Carl Jacqueline, Anthony Jacobson, Craig Jones, Carl Hardy, Ryan Oliver, Mikey Keys, Steve Cooley, Scott Malcolm, Phil Regan, Alan Toon, Graham Sessford, Mark Westwood, and Alan Toon again. Da-na-na-na-na-na-na. Well, as the Porsche pace car pull stars off the grid and goes into that curvy straight pit straight, it's all up to Edward May and Jaroslav Sebula to lead out the field. The lights are on here in Silverstone, and we're about to go racing once more for the BSR MX5 Race 3 here in Silverstone Amateur Cup, and here we go! One last time in Silverstone, Edward May leads out Sebula, followed by Ayers, Jess Banks, Dale Bendison, Charles Kelvin, Ben Sharp, and Andy Maxwell is your top 8. It's a few moves already happening in the back of the field, but May and Sebula leading through Abbey and Farm Corner right now. It's very odd seeing these cars with lights on. It looks like Sebula tried to make a move on May. May being very late on the brakes, leading out through the arena right now. This is where we saw a massive incident in the first race at the end of this straight. Looking at Jacques Gillette right now. Ahead of him is Ben Sharp. We all know what happened last race between these two in the last corner. So keeping eyes as they move up through the field. Hopefully they keep it clean. On board with Jess Banks as May and Sebula race it down the front straight. Heading into Brooklands right now for the lead. Onto the first side. Sebula up on the inside through Brooklands, but May holding it around the outside. Now he has the inside line coming into left field. They're still side by side, and it looks like Sebula is going to try to hold it up, but May is going to get the run mid-corner out of left field and coming into Woodcock to stay in first place. Okay, I thought David was talking, but I think he's muted. All right, May and Sebula leading out through Cops Corner, coming up through Maggots, Beckett's, and Chapel right now. These two pulled away from everyone else, and they're still going strong. There's a massive battle going for P5, I believe, between Sharp and Bendison. All right, between the two, it's May and Seba looking at the battle for the lead. Still no, I want to look around the track right now, but I just can't. And speaking of that, here's Jacqueline racing it along with Bendison as the two Year 1 cars make the pass right there. And Carl Jacqueline gets it to the back end as Jacqueline and Bendison teammates collide almost exactly like last race, but Jacqueline keeps the car moving, and Ben Sharp's got a cut track penalty. Ben Sharp's going slow, and Jacqueline around the outside races around Ben Sharp. He's going to be glad to have him in his rearview mirror. Ben Sharp, once again, 2 races out of the 3, gets a slowdown penalty when he was up there as they all race through Abbey. I think they went 3 wide through there. Switching back up the race to May in the lead. He's leading out Sebula, and he's pulling out a comfortable gap, half second between them. And that's going to give Sebula a good old tow. But May comfortably in the lead as they bring up the teams. The Fury Sim Sport Academy, 1, 2, and 3 in the race right now. They're followed by results and all that time. As our timing screen's going absolutely bonkers in 19th and 20th place. But May leading out Sebula, coming into left field once more. No ludicrous dive bombs from either of them, but just very close racing here in the BSR MX5 Monday Amateur Cup, and there's a good old battle with Jez Banks and David Ayers right behind. They're coming out of Woodcock and approaching Cops Corner. Ayers gonna try to hold it around the outside. Not gonna pressure Banks on the inside, and Jez just gonna hold him off. And David Ayers just trying to stick in with him. And I think Sebla has caught up to May, and Sebla might be trying a move for the lead right here in Magus Banks of Chapel, or trying to get as close as possible with all Fury Sinsport Academy drivers at the start. Well, most of them. Ben Sharp is pulling his way through the field. But teammates getting a good slipstream buddy battle right here down Hanger Straight. Coming into Club Corner with these two. May and Sebla still leading it out, but Banks and David Ayers are joining the party very slowly. Let's take a look at their lap times as they come across Vale and the line. New fastest lap of the race is set by David Ayers, 2:25.85, while Banks has set a 2:26.12, 2:26.17 for Sebla, and 2:26.2 for Edward May. So look out for David Ayers. He is the fastest car on track. But they are closing in on them. Half a second separates Sebla. Sebla goes wide through the arena. So you heard the little AstroTurf getting onto the tires as they are racing down the Wellington Straight. And now the battle between two cars is now a battle between four cars here in Silverstone. Coming up to Brooklands once more. Sebla and May. Sebla laid on the brakes, goes wide, leaves the door open, and here comes Banks. Banks could try to get a better move and close in on Sebla right there, but it definitely looks that Banks is closing in on Sebla, even with David Ayers all over his back end.
Sorry, Austin, I'm back. A couple of technical issues. What have I missed?
Pretty clean racing, pretty great racing. Tell us what you see.
Who are we on board with? So David Ayers of Result Clothing. Bit of damage there to Jez Banks. I thought you said it was a clean race.
Relatively.
Jez Banks, did he cut the corner a little bit there? He's gone very wide.
I don't see it in our timing screen, but look at Sebla. Sebla around the outside. Chapel is going to try to pressure it for the move, and Sebla is going to get the move. And yeah, that was a cut. I think that was a cut track. I didn't see it in our in my little penalty screen, but that just absolutely killed all momentum for Jez Banks right there. Up cutting those sausage curbs. That would just damage a car. And now your battle for the lead is between Edward May and Yaroslav Sebula. Yeah, that's absolutely upset the field at all. Riding on board with Edward May as the lights are on. We wish I could see the flashing of the lights, but it's just, this track is so beautiful in sunset, I must say. So I believe David is fixing a few more stuff right now. They fly through Abbey. May all over the back of Sebula as the gap is closing down. Look at May. May try to send something into Farman. No, he doesn't. He's just keeping it on the tail end. No, it's a 7-lap race. 1 lap out of all could be the difference, but it could be the difference in the wrong way, as we saw with Ben Sharp multiple times this race. Speaking of Ben Sharp, he's actually fallen down 3 positions. He's in 10th after starting in 7th. He's actually in a battle with Jones. They're side by side down Wellington Straight. And look at the damage on Ben Sharp. That front left damage of Ben Sharp. Unfortunately, he gets a little bit squirrely in the braking, so it actually comes across the front of Jones. And he's obviously struggling with that car.
Yeah, you could see him lose a little bit of traction there, couldn't you, on the braking zone? Maybe he's just pushing extra hard to try and catch up these places.
Well, we know Ben Sharp, he's a certain type of guy that never gives up until the race is over. So we're looking at Maxwell and Oliver. Oliver under pressure by Maxwell. Actually, that's Kellyman making the move on Maxwell. Kellyman up on the inside. Here's Ben Sharp making the move around the inside of Cops Corner. As now we're going to have a big don't go 3 wide. Do not go 3 wide through here. Hold your breath. This might get squirrely. Well, thankfully, everyone held their breath right there, and the track got much lighter as that situation has calmed down. But the situation at the front is still heating up between May and Cebula. Side by side they go, and Cebula is just absolutely just dog-paced down the front straight as Edward May takes the lead here at Silverstone. Okay, at Sharp and Kellerman now. Sharp taking moves after Edward May's book. He's going to go up on the inside, and he blows past Kellerman, but Kellerman's not going to take no answer. He's going to go to the racing line. He's going to try to hold it around the outside line. He's actually just going to set it in on Ben Sharp's rear end and let the race on.
Yeah, I think Kellyman will just be happy there to just keep in the draft of Ben Sharp now and try and use that toe to catch up onto the back of Ryan Oliver.
Now we got Carl Jacqueline on the back of David Ayers with Jez Banks in front. Now, Carl Jacqueline, absolute dominating performance here today. Not the results to prove it. Win in race 2, win in race 1. Almost a win in race 2. Unfortunately, he had a little bit of an incident at the end of the race, but he had the win in my book. I'll say he had the win in my book, but unfortunately had a bit of finishing instance. But he's sitting in P5 right now. Can he try to get onto the podium once more?
He's the fastest man on the track at the minute. He's got a 2:25.9, so
David Ayers is faster, is 5,000 faster. Oh, that's Ben! That's Ben Sharp spun once more. A bad day turns even worse and more frustrating for the man who had everything last week. And what's happened here in Brooklands? Kellerman's on his back. Does Kellerman try anything, or did Ben just lose it? We saw him last. Yep, back and lose it. Now, we saw Ben Sharp once the lap earlier get very swirly in that braking zone, so he's been having trouble in Brooklyn, so that might have been a little bit of foreshadowing as we see Jez Banks, David Ayers, and Jack Gillette through Magus Banks and Chapel. We saw David Ayers come very close to Jez Banks, and now he's very far away from Jez Banks, so not the best line and lap for David Ayers. And oh no, Jacquelette's got a slowdown. Jacquelette went off the track, and he's got a slowdown. That is absolutely disastrous for Carl Jacquelette, as he's lost all momentum, as now we're on the battle for third between David Ayers and Jez Banks. Look at the sector times up there as we bring up the telemetry for David Ayers as we ride on board May and Sebla. That is the wrong timing screen. That is for the leaders, not for third and fourth. So we have the timing chunks brought up to see who's faster. David Ayers is definitely faster than Jez Banks. Not personal best, but personal best for all the guys in 8th through 10th and 12th. But the battle for third is really heating up. And don't forget it for the battle for the lead right now between Sebla and May. But that one's not as hot as the battle for third. Sorry, Marco, for making you look. Once again, our broadcaster, he's going to be the silent but deadly guy today. It's Marco Baranima who's given us all these wonderful camera angles and coverage of today's races. So give him a little bit of shout out in chat, give him a little bit of love. He's been the one spinning the wheel, but he's also been the one showing you these pretty little graphics. After
is definitely faster than Banks. I think he's doing a great defensive job, Banks, of keeping him behind. But can he go around the outside? No. You can see A is having to lift off going into the braking zone just a little bit early in comparison to Banks. They've dropped back quite a bit there from Banks. I don't know what happened there through the Maggots and Beckett's.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. He's been having trouble following Banks through that corners complex, so he's definitely having a little bit trouble right there. I think he's just waiting it out for the last lap and trying to get his feel for the car at this certain temperature because the track's obviously cooler, so you have a lot more grip. So Banks is exploring the track a lot more than David Ayers. Pull up the, yeah, 18 degrees is the track temperature. So my American knowledge has no idea what that means, but I believe that does mean something. And it's much cooler than it was earlier on today.
Very much cooler, yeah. Yeah, they'll be struggling for grip.
They won't be struggling for grip.
Sorry, they won't be struggling for grip.
So we enter white flag conditions. One last lap around Silverstone today in the Amateur Cup. Be sure to check in at this time tomorrow on the iRacing Esports channel for the professionals around Silverstone in the MX5. A little bit of a replay. Oh, that's Graham Sessford. That is hanger straight. Graham Sessford is in the pits as that's definitely ended his race. He's not having a great race today. A few other guys in the pits right now as we are on the final lap. It's Edward May and Yaroslav Sebula leading it out. One last time as they go through Woodcock. Can May leave off Sebula's? There's a lapped car. That's Cara Hardy. He's going slow. He must have had a little bit of an incident or he's just letting them through. But they've absolutely gapped the field between Jez Banks and David Ayers as they come through Cops. It's Edge of Your Seat Racing once more. Everybody buckle your seatbelts because it's going to get wild through Maggots, Beckett's, and Chapel. Over the curb goes May. We've seen that destroy so many races. Will this be Sebula's blessing right here?
He's not got too long to do it now. I think May's just going to have enough on this one.
Sebula half a second behind, but that toe is being so good to him. It's not as long as a straight as we had in Le Mans, but the toe is still there. 4/10, 3/10. He gets laid on the brake. That car's squirming all over the place, trying to find the best grip. 4/10 back through the corner, but May keeping it on edge with these two. Into club, the last real overtaking corner, and May is going to lead out Sebula as they come through Vale. And winner of race 3 for Fury Sim Sport Academy is Edward May. And he's followed by Yaroslav Sebula, and Jez Banks completes the podium for race 3. Jack Gillette putting in the fastest lap and best effort for a P5. But a very cleaner race and a cleaner race for race 3 to compromise from that wild race 2.
Ben Sharp momentarily on two wheels then.
Oh,
I think he just hit the sausage on the curb a bit too hard.
There's a lot of smoke ahead. There's chaos in the backfield. Might need a replay to see what's exactly happened to Ben Sharp, but Ben Sharp finishing in P12. Dropped down 5 positions. Here's a replay of Cara Hardy. Ooh. Oh, that's just unfortunate. That was one of the Fury cars, and I might go out and poor Carl. Broken suspension. Oh, That is very unfortunate, as they're doing donuts in the dark. Ladies and gentlemen, if you want to do some donuts in the dark, what is going on right there? Is that Alan Toon doing those donuts, or is just everyone doing donuts right now? Oh. So, Kip Stevens is messing with us. Thank you, Kip. We're looking at a few highlights from the race right now as we're waiting for the race to end and a few people to hop into the interview room right now. But here are your results. Do we have results? All right, here are your results for race 3. The final race here at Silverstone. It's Evermade taking the win, followed by Yaroslav Sabla, Jez Banks, David Ayers, Carl Jacqueline, Ryan Oliver, Charles Kellerman, Craig Jones, Amy Maxwell, Mikey Keith, Ben Sharp, Scott Malcolm, Anthony Jacobson, Dale Bennison, Steve Cooley, Russell Davis, Mark Westwood, Phil Reagan, Alan Toon, Kip Stevens, Carl Hardy, and Graham Sesford. And that is your entire order. Moss and I've been joined by his first time in the commentary box, David Gowrie, as we're going to get a few people into the interview room. Once again, graphics and all camera work brought to us by Marco Branaba. And who should we get in first? I'm going to say Edward May. Edward, welcome. How was that race?
Oh, race 3, that was brilliant. Thank you for inviting me in. That was great fun. Good team drive between me, Yarrick, and Jez there, getting the 1, 2, 3. Perfect result. That's what we come here for.
Yeah, I looked very close between a few of those guys, but you had a great race. Anything in the other races that you want to talk about? Any funny incidents, any swirly incidents, or just anyone you want to thank and just shout out?
Well, race 1 was probably one of my better races, probably one of the best races I've ever had, really, around in a BSR race, getting from, I think it was 18th up into 5th. Came into this race meet with a few points to prove and sort of a need to sort of just go in and show everyone what I'm capable of, and I think I did myself justice today.
All right. We have David Gowrie. It's his first time in the comment box. David, you wanna ask Edward anything?
I don't bite, I promise.
All right. David's just being a bit shy. Well, thank you, Edward. Anyone who want to shout out before we kick you off and get the next person in here?
Before you boot me out, yeah, I just first of all like to thank the team sponsors, Year One HQ. If you go to I believe it's year1hq.com and use the code May107, all one word, May107, you'll get 10% off of any orders on custom flip flops or anything they sell at the shop. So it's a very good deal. I think that's one of the only ways you can get a discount from them, and it's definitely worth it. Good products they make. When it comes to thanking the team, I'd like to thank everyone that was in that 1, 2, 3 with me, of course, Yarrick, Jez, then myself, and then we've got Ryan Oliver. Had a great race today. I think it's his first time in BSR this season. Showed really good race pace, and then obviously you've got Ben Sharp, who had a great race as well. Had some unfortunate incidents, but everyone did, I think, in that race.
A lot of incidents.
Yeah, but unfortunate. But we all showed what we were capable of. We all sort of came in and showed everyone that Fury is the best team in BSR and always will be.
All right. Well, thank you for that, Edward. We're gonna let you go right now and bring in your teammate, Yes Banks, and see what he says.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Oh,
all right. Welcome, Jez. How are
Hello.
you? I've almost
I'm good.
out Marco. That would have been bad. You're doing good? Just good?
Yeah. Yeah. So no
More than
win
good.
tonight, but for the championship, solid result.
All right. Anything you want to bring up? Any funny incidents? Any great racing stories today? Your race 2, you finished in 10th. Could that have been a little bit better?
Yeah, that could have been better. I got involved in a collision through the Maggots and Beckett's complex. I avoided the first 3 collisions, but got caught by the 4th just
It was
on
just
the left hand
absolutely
side
massive.
rear wheel.
It was just an
Um,
absolute massive crash, I must
and
say.
and just struggled to recover from that. I had a little bit of speed loss. The car was handling okay, but there was a lot of good drivers out there. Hats off to Carl Jacquelet. He had the pace tonight. I think he probably deserved to do better than he did. But also David Ayres in 2 races, both in race 2 and race 3. He was a difficult man to shake. I had to work really hard. Properly hard, and he was a difficult driver to get off my boot lid, and I don't think I really managed it. We just, fortunately for me, ran out of laps.
Yeah, he was the fastest car on track for race 3, definitely, and he was getting consistently fast a lot of times, but you were just defending like a madman. So shout out to you. Speaking of shout outs, anyone who want to shout out
Uh,
before?
Oh, just the usual, year 1. Thanks again for your sponsorship and the rest of the Fury guys. It was a good result again for the team after Bathurst last week, and I'm going to sit back now and watch the Apex commentary because I enjoy listening to you guys. And it'd be unusual not hearing Marco because I think he's back on the cameras. But
Yes, he is.
you guys do a cracking job every week, so thanks very much for that.
Oh, thank you.
No
Well,
worries.
you have a great day. You have a great night, especially because I know what time it is for you over there.
Yeah,
And
it's beer o'clock.
thank you for a great show.
Cheers.
All right. Well, that was Jez Banks. And now we're going to bring in probably the someone that we were not expecting to have taking the top position. It's Ryan Oliver. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome, Ryan. A fantastic race 2. Saw a surprise win out of you. Anything you want to say about that?
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't quite the result I was expecting. Unfortunately, we saw a bit of an optimistic move from my teammate Ben. With that said, I think that if there was enough room left on the inside, could have been a different story. But it was a hectic last lap battle, really for 2 laps, really, to be honest, between the 3 of us that kind of came down to the wire in the end. And I just sort of made the decision, you know what, I'll let them 2 play, and I'll just sit and be patient and sit on their bumper and see what happens. And this time around, it panned out for me. And to be totally honest with you, I think there's a story for all 3 races. I think I came into today thinking, well, I haven't really raced many of the rounds, unfortunately, and I thought just going to keep it clean, try and keep out of trouble, sort of do the opposite of last season BSR for me, and it works wonders. My advice to people saying that Fury should be reclassed, it's not, we're quick drivers in a sense. We've got some incredibly talented guys on the team, of course, but I was 2 seconds a lap off pace going into race 2, still picked up the win because it's all about just keeping it clean, making smart decisions, and picking the right moments, I think.
All right. Thank you for that. We have David in here. David, anything you wanted to say to Ryan on his win or any other races?
Hi everyone. Yeah, sorry. More technical gremlins. Congratulations, Ryan. Great driving. We saw a little bit of luck on that victory for race 2, but great consistency and yeah, just kept up with those guys. How much impact did the draft have? Did you feel it when someone was behind you or when you were behind them? Which was the most pressure?
I felt like there was a lot of people hanging on who I didn't expect to see. We saw some really sort of close racing, sort of when battling through the mid pack in those reverse grids that I think definitely showed the draft. I only really personally noticed it a couple of times when charging through the field as well. But for the most part, I'd say it's maybe 0.3 or 0.4 laps, so it's not massive, but definitely can be impactful if you pick up the car in the right sections. The
Hmm.
problem with Silverstone is because there's so many sort of tight, twisty little complex parts. Since Megaspec is a great example, in fact, you can't really follow a car through unless you pick it up at the right time. Otherwise, the draft is all well and good, but you can do nothing with it. You have to hit the brakes a fair bit, which I think actually caused a fair few incidents this evening from what I was looking at. I saw an interesting race start, in fact, from braking on the apex up in P3. So yeah, there's been a couple of interesting moments with the draft, that's for sure.
Yeah, I think there's a couple of instances going into Maggots and Beckett's, like you mentioned, where um, coming through, following through from cops, that draft, if you do have to touch the brakes, it does kind of just leave you that bit too far behind, really, through Maggots and Beckett's, and really hard to follow
Yeah, not
onto
only is it
onto Hanger Straight.
it's hard to follow, but it's also kind of difficult at times to keep the car stable, depending on sort of how aggressive you're going into the corner. If you're really trying to get on someone's bumper and make the move, you can unsettle the car and drift into a slide. We saw some incredible driving from Jackalette, but I noticed that a little bit from him in race 2. And likewise, really everybody, I think, struggled a bit when making those aggressive moves in the draft, definitely sending you sideways, as the track was a little bit of a slippery beast tonight, that's for sure.
Definitely. Well, congratulations, Ryan. Well done to you, and obviously the Fury Sim Sport team. Great results all round. Congratulations.
But
Appreciate it,
before
thank
you
you.
go, anyone who want to shout out?
I think it goes without saying, we've got a great bunch of lads at Fury Sim Sport. There's, little things here and there that we're trying to improve on. We're trying to bring in fresh talent. So a huge props to them, and obviously our sponsors year one as well. And the other shout I'd say is to all the haters on the BSR Facebook group. We appreciate your love and support. We are in the AM Championship, and we are AMs delivering results. I've got an iRating of 1400. But we've got some talented drivers who come in and put in the work. Practice makes perfect. That's all it's all about.
All right. Well, thank you, Ryan, for some heated words. Want to give it to Marco Branaba one last time as he's going to take us out. But thank you, everybody, for tuning in live or watching the VOD. I'm Austin Knight. I've been joined by David Gowery, and our producer has been Marco Branaba, and I hope y'all have a good night.